Welcome to another episode of the 116 Life right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, shout out to you, man, for tuning in once again, whether you're an OG listener or if it's your first time listening. I appreciate you. We appreciate you tuning in as always here. My name is Meah Evans. And listen, man, I got to tell y'all something. I got to tell y'all some news, man. Ace is not here this week, man. Listen, he sends his love. Bro, y'all know Ace is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ace is out in LA right now. As we're recording this, he is in LA for Grammy week. I know, like, say you're a big deal without saying you're a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Ace. We love him here at the 116 Life. So I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I'm solo, but I'm not solo. Once again, we have an amazing special guest, man. Man, I'm trying to think the millions of words that's coming into my mind right now to way to describe him. Repping the mighty Midwest. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my favorite people to see perform live. He's always got that fire, man. When I tell you, he's so pure in heart and all the things that he does. And he is on the 116 Life with me right now. I got Stephen Malcolm in the building. I got him here with me. Stephen, bro, how you feeling, man?
Good.
Bro, thank you for being here. So listen, so we're in a new year, new space, and I feel like you're someone who I've seen just, you know, through the gram, just even getting the chance to talk to you and hearing through your music. You just seem like someone who's crazy goal oriented. So where's your like mindset for 2024? Where's your mind been? Just let me know where you've been at.
Mamba mindset, you know what
Mamba mindset. You mean that good mindset?
Yeah. We kicking it off with consistency and letting consistency and discipline be the foundation. And we gonna see what's up. You know what I mean? Trying to be fully outside, fully active, and get the music to the people this year. You know?
No, I feel that. How does it feel being back outside? Because I was thinking about that recently, about how concerts, tours, listening parties even are coming back to being a thing. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, I miss those moments. I miss connecting.
Same.
How does it feel being able to like be back, touch the hands of the people?
How does it feel to have a job again? It feels great. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Like, it feels amazing. The world is opening back up. And performing is my favorite thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So, it's an adjustment from a certain aspect, from a content aspect, because it's fully changed since COVID, you know what I'm saying, with the content, but also being back outside is a blessing. Getting busy again. You know?
I feel that 100%. Yeah. Now I got to ask you this because you spoke on discipline, and I love being able to see, you're a guy who's really fit, bro. Like you're just like in the gym, whether it's boxing and things like that. And even your 100 push-ups a day challenge that you're doing right now, bro. You've been killing it. Have you always been an active person?
Yeah. Cause I grew up an athlete, you know what I'm saying? Grew up playing basketball. My first goal was NBA.
Okay. You nice?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, nice. I believe you.
I still got a jump shot in the crossover, so come on with it.
I feel you.
But it's always been a thing of me, like being in the gym. I think that brings structure, you know what I'm saying, to my life. And I was actually prophesied over one time. The one time, like, I really feel like it hit home. Shorty looked at me and she was just like, yo, your life, your ministry, your discipline all depends on your gym regimen. Build your body, your ministry will build. Build your body, your growth will build, spiritually, physically, and mentally. So always stay in there. So I always keep that in mind too.
Bro, it's crazy you say that because I feel like that's something personally for me that God's been charging me on. It's been 3 things God told me to make sure I'm doing is pray in the morning, do my devotional, and eat right. And I was kind of just like, what does eat right have to do with anything? But I feel like God truly, with the temples that we got, he wants us to be able to make sure we're fit to be able to do what he's called us. So it's crazy you say
energy, full everything, man. It's the health, the temple.
And it makes sense that for you, at least when it comes to you being fit, because when you bring the energy on stage and when you're doing your shows, bro, like it makes sense to how you're able to have that stamina. Because y'all, I'm not gonna lie, y'all be looking on stage, I'd be like, I don't see how Stephen be able to do all this, but it makes your energy transfers to the crowd, and it's just it all just wraps around. So that makes complete sense. When it comes to, man, I was thinking on the ride over here, because of course, you know, I was listening to, like, you know, your music on the way over here was of course in my mix of my playlist, and I was thinking about, I think the first time I interviewed you was I was on an AM station, and I think your debut album dropped. It was like 2017. I think when you first got signed to 4 Against 5. And I wanted to talk about your growth and evolution, which I 100% believe is there. But when I was listening to your old stuff and then some things were going into the new, I was like, Stephen's kind of been on his game. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of like you came out the gate on top. I don't know, like your craft was just so sharp. How do you maintain to sharpen your craft, stay on top of things when it comes to music, artistry, things like that?
I think the team that I got around me and the people that I surround myself with when I go into those creative processes, I feel like I had a head start because when I gave my life to Jesus at a hip hop church, the pastor built the studio in the church.
Whoa.
So I'd be in the studio tracking myself, engineering myself, mixing, mastering myself. Homie would be in the sanctuary dancing. We basically lived at the church. So I guess I was always sharpening my skills. 5 years before I got signed. So by the time I'm signed, yeah, man, the season was there. All it needed was just the Phil Jackson to let me in the game. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where, people like Joseph and, the songwriters and producers that I bring to the studio with me just push me to, continue to evolve,
Yeah. What ways do you feel like you've evolved over the past, let's say over the course of your career?
Man, always people telling me to go deeper. I always got cats that's like, Steve, go deeper. And I always can go deeper, you know what I mean? I find myself being very surface. I think that comes from just being a quiet person and just, having everything held in. But it's when I like unlock certain doors and let people in certain, vulnerable parts of my life and just really get deep is when people really start connecting,
In the music, would you say? Yeah. Has that been a struggle? Some like tension trying to pull that out of you?
Not a struggle, but I'm such a Midwest rapper that I just want to talk my stuff.
No, okay.
I just want to get on there and just, just turn up and just talk my stuff. But sometimes it's like, nah, let's get real and let's make some music that not only has people turning up, but connects and is just musical growth. You know what I mean? Overall. Yeah.
I feel that. So I want to talk about fatherhood really quick, just because I remember seeing when you and your beautiful wife, when y'all were pregnant, and then now like your son has gotten so big. So how has fatherhood been? How's your little boy? Give us an update on that.
Yeah, fatherhood has taken over my heart, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I find myself super passionate about it. My pastor always says like our greatest passion comes from our deepest hurt. And one of my deepest hurts is growing up fatherless, you know what I'm saying? So I get to do things with my little man that, I always wish my pops would do. And I fall in love with that. I fall in love with whooping him. Because I know I'm disciplining him. And he gonna grow up sharp. Like, nah, we don't do this, son. Boom, boom, get in that room, boy, till you straighten up. Like, I love every part about being a pops, man. And so, yeah, I be having to like, all right, Steve, you're an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's get to the business real quick. And because I'm so in love with fatherhood, man. If I could be a stay-at-home dad, I would. Shout out to wife.
For real?
I would, yeah.
I bet once he gets older, he would definitely be the one to want to be out on the road with you.
Oh yeah,
I can see that 100%.
Me too.
One thing I love is the fact that you showcase those things online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How has it been being able to parent, living a life of not like, having your dad around and things like that, seeing him get older, does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it just makes everything more real. I guess it makes everything more important.
Yeah.
It makes everything more important, man. Even from like like he's got a jump shot already.
Oh, whoa.
Like legit jump shot already. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows things about basketball. He knows like this is the rim, this is the shooter's square, that's the free throw line. This is my mans will spin the ball and go and then shoot.
You
know what I'm saying? Like, and he just turned 3. We was at the YMCA. They had like the 4-year-olds shooting, and my man's is shooting better than the 4-year-olds. So
yeah,
he's got a leg up, man, which I never had. I've always been the underdog. So yeah.
And man, he taking after his dad already. He nice on the court already. That is crazy, man. One thing with you, seeing you grow from 2017. Well, when did you start getting into hip hop? I would say.
I mean, I've always been into hip hop. Growing up, I've always, like, me and my cousin in high school would just lock ourselves in a room, put on a beat, and just freestyle, like legit, bro, off the top, just go, and then I'm gonna go next. And then when I gave my life to Jesus, I was living in this crib. They had a studio in the basement.
Yeah.
That's where I learned everything, fell in love with the craft. But then when I truly, like, gave my life to Christ and started going to church, it's like, all right, how you want to serve? And then I hopped on the worship team and just one thing led to another. But yeah, hip hop has always been in me, but I would say it became like a real thing in like 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. After, the pastor built the studio in the church, and, I'm serving on the worship team, and it was just like I was working in retail at the time, going to school to be a cop. And this rap thing,
Okay,
felt
hold on.
good.
You said a lot of things that I really want to dive into. You said a lot, because you said you going to college, becoming a cop. You said the worship team. So I wanted to go back a little bit.
And
I'm happy on the show because there's a lot of things I'm even learning about you.
Yeah.
So when it comes to hip hop, who were some people that you were listening to growing up?
Goodness, Lil Wayne was the first one.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, mine's like, he was my basketball playlist. You know what I'm saying? Gucci Mane. I feel like everybody from the Midwest listens to Gucci Mane.
Facts.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, who else? Of course, Bob Marley. I've always listened to Michael Jackson. He's always been through the playlist. 50 Cent, when he came out, I fell in love with him. Snoop Dogg.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? How full circle was that? So yeah, those have always been my influence. And then at the pivotal moment of like, I'm in high school, I'm conscious of the hip hop culture. Who are my favorites? It was always Wayne.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, Wayne is, I feel like you can't mention people like grace in hip hop without mentioning Wayne.
Yeah.
Penn is insane. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can't just not mention him. So I'm trying to put the pieces together, because you said you love hip hop with your cousin in the basement, and then this hip hop church. I feel like I've been to one of these here in Atlanta, but talk about how you got introduced to this hip hop church. Like what was it like? How you got introduced to it?
Literally, it's my senior year in high school. And I mean, I'm just a regular kid. Like, I just hoop, I go to parties, I kick it.
Yeah.
And then I happen to just rap in this basement at a party house. And just first I'm hooping, and then a dude who I used to go to school with, who was not saved, his name was B. Cole. He said, hey man, I gave my life to Christ. I go to this hip hop church now. And I went to parties with bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen him in action.
So
in the
you know
days,
him.
And I'm like, like, if this dude's talking about Jesus right now, something really done changed in my man's life. And he was for real about it, invited me to the church. So, when somebody invites you the first time, it just goes in one ear, not the other.
Facts, right.
So that's what it did. And then another person invited me. They was like, this hip hop church called The Edge. And another person invited me, this hip hop church called The Edge. Check it out. It was on Saturday nights.
Oh, okay.
So one Saturday night, I wasn't doing nothing. Long story short, my life was crazy. My mom was sleeping with a neighbor who was married. My sister was a stripper off cocaine. So was my cousin Ashley. My cousin Peanut was gangbanging. My cousin Mike was in and out of prison for robbing. And there was me, Stephen Malcolm. What you gonna do with your life? You're 18, 19 years old, no pops. Your mom is, tripping, really no guidance, no money. I was mad broke. What you gonna do? And it's just like, all right, man, these people keep talking about this church. Let me check it out. You know what I'm saying? And I went, and like, I understand the hip hop churches here, or, crossover, no shot, so I love all of them. But I walked into this church, and it's nothing but young Black and brown people. Lecrae bumping in the sanctuary, KB bumping, Andy bumping in the sanctuary. You got cats dancing, breaking, popping, tutting, crumping in the sanctuary. You got spoken word artists. You got the pastor with the fitted cap cocked to the side.
To the side.
You know what I'm saying? And just the passion and the music. Our worship is literally like nothing but Christian hip hop. It's no CCM, no gospel woven into to cater. No, this is a hip hop church. We about to turn up in this on this altar. And man, I fell in love. I'm from the hip hop culture. I see dude up there crumping. My bro that I was telling you about that invited me the first time.
Yeah.
He's up there rapping bars. Like, and the whole, like, and I didn't even know Christian hip hop existed. I didn't know who Lecrae was, nothing. But I see homie up there spitting like crazy, and it's hard. And I'm like, dang, bro gets off stage from crumping like Rise. Like, not like, he okay. No,
bro
like
is
like tight.
Like going at it.
Like, my mans can battle anybody right
Shout
now.
out Mark, the bad guy in the building, who was crumping.
He's at the time, 16, 17?
Wow.
And he gets off stage. I'm like, bro, that was wild, bro. That was crazy dope. He's like, yo, glory to God.
Man.
I ain't never seen or heard no young black man that is clearly from where I'm from talking about, yo, glory to God. And it's just did something that just blew my mind. And he looked like me and sounded like me. So I was like, all right, there's something different about this place. You know
I can
what I'm saying?
tell by you talking the impact, how that moment never left you the same. And when we come back in the next segment, I want to talk more about your upbringing, how that changed you. I want to even dive into you being a worship leader. I think that's fire. Listen, don't go anywhere. It's the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. I got Stephen Malcolm here with me, and we'll be right back. And we're back here on the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Listen, Stephen and I were talking and chopping it up off air a little bit, and I wanted to make sure that we were bringing it because he was just saying so many different things I feel were so fire. Talking about, it's called The Edge, right?
Yes.
The hip hop church that kind of, I would say, introduced you to Christ, you would say.
Absolutely.
And you're saying how there are these men of God, black, brown men on stage, music loud, crumping, dancing for God.
Yeah.
And that, it's safe to say that was a pivotal time in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's so fire because that all wraps into who you were. So like, how long were you going to the church after that? Like dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, so man, I had to have been going there, and keep in mind, I ain't going here talking about I'm about to change, I'm about to do this. Like the first, couple weekends, I was texting homie like, hey man, where the party at tonight? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like slowly things just started to change. Like I found Jesus to be one of the most interesting people ever first, and then just the environment. So I just kept on going, and I would say, well, like a year. Yeah, I was probably going for a consistent year and just getting, myself involved. I would meet up with the pastor like once a week. I would drive with no L's. I didn't have no license at the time, but I would take my sister's car. He would say, hey, meet me at Panera Bread. I'll pull up on him. We go through scripture. He would, show me the foundations and how to, go through scripture and digest that mug. Told me the foundations, fellowship, discipleship, prayer, being in your word, having them be the 4 legs on your table and just build that foundation. And then him hooking me up with the cats after church. Like when church is over, we don't leave. You know what I'm saying? We in the dance circle. You know what I'm saying? And while the music's still going and just fellowshipping, and it just was all consistent. And in that scripture of like, those who follow me, take up your cross, kill yourself. So I just literally took that literal and stopped hanging out with the homies and would just wait on bro to call me like, yo, y'all at the church tonight? I'm gonna slide through. And did that for a consistent year. And then the pastor was just like, yo, it's time to, get up off your butt and serve. How you gonna serve these people? How you gonna serve the church? What's good? You rap a little bit, right?
I'm curious to know what that community was like. What was the community like, being around the other guys, having your pastor take you up under your wing, coming from like, where your environment, people around you were kind of, you didn't want to get sucked into that. So being poured into consistently. What was that like, having like, a mentor, strong community around you during that time? It
was pivotal, man. Like I feel like I've always been that individual. It's just like, where's my Phil Jackson to put me in the game? You know what I mean? So he was the first man to speak life into me. Any man that speaks life into a young man and the vision will come, and that's exactly what he did. And he's a passionate dude. I mean, he was a gang leader back in the days and turned pastor. So he has a way of just making you believe. And praise God for God now. You know what I'm saying? Taking them and making believers believe. And so, he made me believe and gave me opportunity and told me go. I ain't looked back
So let's
since.
talk about serving, because I think that's pivotal. Also, because I think sometimes people, we get into, we church, we just go, which is great going to church, not knocking that at all. But it's so important to be able to learn to have a servant's heart, being able to serve in your church and your community. What was serving like at the hip hop church?
It was great, man, because I feel like everybody has a servant heart. Like that's the one big thing that like Troy really speaks on, is just serving. And honestly, like when I first read, because the first gospel that I read was Matthew, and he was like, what did you get out of it at the end? And the biggest thing I got out of it was, I feel like Jesus just gave himself to the people. Like all he did was just do stuff for people once his ministry started. So that's called serving. washing people's feet. So, I mean, we would stack chairs. For example, if you wanted to get on the worship team back in the day, you had to learn everything you had to learn the soundboard.
Come on.
You had to learn the lights. You had to learn all the lyrics, not just my verse, but you have to know everybody's verse, all the lyrics, get all that, and then go. So it's just like, being everywhere, being a vessel that is serving everywhere just to build this body up. And yeah, PE, our pastor, he went hard with preaching that.
So what area were you serving in?
At first, I had to, learn, the sound and all that stuff, and just picking up chairs, greeting people at the door, stuff like that. And then I was on the worship team for a long time. I helped when my homie Jake was cleaning the church, I would come serve and help clean with him too. I've held the camera during COVID. Just always trying to learn somewhere.
I love that you share that, because I think a lot of times, and I feel like I think I was talking to my sister about this, where a lot of times we just want to get on the stage, man. We just want to, because we have this talent, or like we love what's going on, so therefore we want to be in it. Yeah. But sometimes it's not the fact that we have to serve our dues, but it's the fact that there's something in serving that you learn where you realize you're not just on stage for you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the heart posture of it. And it makes sense, the fact that the heart that you have now with all the opportunities, everything coming your way, because you were able, those things were bred into you when it came to when you were introduced to Christ. I want to talk about you being on the worship team. What was that like? Did you want to be on the worship team?
I absolutely wanted to be on it, man. It was fire. We had a fire group, fire leader. Shout out to Beacon Light. Mentor took me under his wing because he was doing his thing. Man, this guy named Joe Guerrera, super dope contemporary artist. He taught me all about touring. B. Cole, he literally like recreated beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we just I was blessed to like have every single aspect of like people around me who knew all about aspects of just music. You know what I'm saying? And just all were so talented. And so it was just always good vibes. We were all so close, because there was just consistent fellowship going on. So it was like brothers and sisters hanging out. And man, I remember one of our biggest issues was just always joking around too much during worship practice. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was fun. Good times.
So how did the worship team then also lead you to being a Christian hip hop artist, you rapping now for God? Like, how did that transition happen?
Man, so I was doing the worship team thing, and then I had got an idea. I was like, man, I want to do a cypher video just with the guys in the church. Like,
that's fire.
I found a beat, and I was at work, penning the lyrics, and just told everybody the idea. We had a guy at the church that time that shot videos. Shout out to Street Alert. And we shot a cypher video that's still up on YouTube today. You can look it up, called Edge Cypher 1.0, and it's got Baby Steven on there. Yeah, saying with the button-up Nordstrom shirt on. That was fresh out of work, man. And and I did that video and put that video up on YouTube, and just the comments, like mad people was just like, yo, that first dude, yo, he snapped. And it was just like the first time I was getting like affirmation on something that I was doing. And ironically, it's preaching the gospel through my music. And when I was leading worship, just getting affirmation and just feeling like, yo, I'm empowering people with my words, and it's something good. It's good.
Yeah. So when was the moment you realized, like, I kind of want to do this. I think I could do this full time.
I was at Nordstrom. I was working, and I thought about my life, and it's just like, man, I wake up, I go to the gym, I go to work, and then I go to this church. They got the studio, and I'm just rapping for the rest of the day till I go home or go to school. Man, what if I pursue, a music career? And then I sat with the pastor, and he asked me, we was drinking coffee, and he was just like, yo, if you can make music and pay your bills, would you do it? And at the time, it just seemed far-fetched.
Yeah.
Like, back in the day with the blank CD and the permanent marker, yo, check my music out.
No, facts.
I ain't trying to be one of them dudes. But I was just like, yeah, if I can pay rent and make music for a living, I would do it. And thought about my life. I figured, man, I'm spending all this time with the homies. There's a studio there. Why not pursue it? And I remember I was on my knees at night, man, praying like, Lord, Should I really do this? Should I really do this? You know, people, you know, God told me, which is cool. It's cool. But this is like the one time, like I heard that still voice. And God said, this isn't you, this is me. You just a tool, so go. And here I am.
What was it like getting that confirmation? Because I feel like it's one thing when you want to do it, you know what I'm saying? But when God's like, God backs you, you know what I'm saying?
It felt like I had a battery pack in my back. Like, it's like,
real.
okay, bet. Like I felt like, it felt clarity. Yeah, clarity, man. That's what the Lord can bring. It's just like, wasn't no cloudiness, wasn't no doubt. It was just like, this is it. All right, bet, I'm gonna do it.
So what is early stages of Stephen Malcolm's hip hop career? You diving into CHH? Like what is the early stages of that look like?
Man, just out the church, man, sleeping at the church, toothbrushes in the bathroom at the church.
Living at the church.
We were living at the church. Yeah, spending the night. I would spend the night. I remember some nights I'd be recording and then go to work and the sun be coming up on Division.
Sheesh, man.
Yeah, Toops be gone because it's too early. But yeah, and it was just a grind, but it wasn't like a grind like, oh, I'm grinding. It was just like a love. Like, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. And I put out 3 projects before I got signed. I took them all down, so nobody really knows about them. I wish I would have kept them up. But yeah, I put out my first one called Christ My Swag.
Christ My Swag.
Christ My Swag. That tells you the year, you know. The second one was Real Hip Hop, which that one was like, it was pivotal. And then my third one was called Monsters, Inc. I'm a beast with the pen, call it Monsters, Inc.
Whoa, that's crazy. That is wild. Okay.
That one was great. And yeah, all 3 of them I tracked, mixed, mastered, engineered, had the homies shoot the video. I edited them, put it up. So yeah, I really had an independent grind like crazy, but it was just all out of the love, and this is what I'm doing for God. So this is my life. It's my identity.
I want to talk about this too. Phenomenal dancer as well. I will say, shout out Mark the Bad Guy who's in the building.
That part.
One of my favorite shows I've ever been to, tours ever been to, was the tag team tour that y'all did.
Bless up,
because it was just the energy y'all did. I've never seen someone dance on stage the way y'all did, and it was just fire. And it's just one of my y'all are 2 people where it's just like if they come to my city, gotta go see.
Bless up.
So I'm curious to know, when the genesis of you dancing, did that come from Edge? When did that fall into place?
That came from Michael Joseph Jackson.
For real?
Yeah, growing up, I seen his 30th anniversary show. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know a human can move like that. And so I went with a VHS tape and recorded all his videos. I recorded Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, Remember the Time, all those. And learned the routines. Like to this day, I could probably still do some of the whole routines. And I know the whole Billie Jean performance like the back of my hand. And so then I went to like teen nightclubs, like teen nights growing up, and I would just bust out some Michael Jackson. Then I was watching, this is hilarious, I was watching Ricky Lake one day.
Oh my God.
Shout out to Ricky Lake.
Shout out Ricky. Okay.
She had a dance show, and there was a breaker on there, and they flared and windmilled, and I'm like, I ain't know a human could move like that. Let me try that out. And I started breaking, and me and the homies in 6th grade started a breakdance group called Suicide Breakers. Because during practice, 90% of the time you're gonna get hurt. But you just, you thug it out because you're a breaker. So yeah, man, we used to go to the teen nights and just win all the contests that they had. You know what I'm saying? Breaking, and I'd be moonwalking and breaking and waving, and so it's always been a thing. Then when I go to the church and link up with Mark, it's like that's how we fellowshipped. Like,
man,
let's lab up.
It's so dope hearing the genesis of who we got today. You know what I'm saying? All those things, I'm seeing like, it's like math almost, where like, you had the church and then you met up with Mark and then you had this, you learned how to serve, and then all these things added up to who you are today. And when we come back, y'all need to get ready because February 23rd, a new album is on the way by Stephen Malcolm, and y'all don't want to miss it. We're going to talk more about that when we come back here on the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Stephen Malcolm is in the building, okay?
What?
And now we're about to dive into something major, man. Mark your calendars, February 23rd. Boats.
Going up.
Stephen Malcolm's new album will be here February 23rd. Okay, so at first I had it wrong because at first I thought it was, because Boats is an acronym,
Yes.
right? And it's called, and at first I thought it was based on a true story, but it's based on a truth story.
Yes.
So bro, dive into the album, talk about it, what inspired
Yes.
the title, talk about everything.
Yes. So yeah, a lot of people will think it's based on a true story, but growing up, my nickname ironically was Truth. Like, you know, when you're good at a lot of stuff, like, yo, he's the truth. So one of my friends was like, yo, this is Stephen Malcolm, man, check it, he's the truth. Da-da-da-da. So everybody just called me Truth.
Facts.
Now I serve the ultimate truth. And, you know, I love the name. It was my nickname. So I actually gave it to my son. His middle name is Truth. Zaire Truth Malcolm. So Truth is just, is my story. Me being a Christian artist, I can actually talk about stuff that I do.
Yeah.
That's real. So based on a truth story, Boats, being a fisher of man that I am, stepping out into that water on faith, it just all makes sense. It's a story of the redeemed hero who has sacrificed time away to pursue what he's most passionate about, which has led him to this beautiful oasis built by the broken and ran by the redeemed. And it is here that he tells his story of truth. So it's so broken up, like, and it has my story woven into it so much to where it's like, at first, I like to call it Truth's boastful moment, where it's like, I'm him, you know what I mean? That Midwest boy rapping. And then it gets into the brokenness that happened within, like, me dedicating just so much time away from friends and family that's just like, I'm so dedicated to this dream that has just left me lonely. I could be in a room full of people and just feel so alone. And then that's when God steps in, and I talk about the brokenness and the choice that my father made to have me in the situation that I am, how God has came on time and then transformed my life. And then the back half is just the transformation. And where I'm at now, 5 years married, I talk about love, like relational love, which more artists need to do, Christian artists anyway. So yeah, everything is just based on a true story about this guy named Truth, who is sent away to reflect on his choice, and now he's lonely.
Yeah, I wanna when it comes to, I'm thinking about like your debut album, Second City, Tree, and then now Boats. When it comes to the creation of Boats, how different was it creating it, being in the studio for that, your mindset? How different was it?
Yeah, very calculated. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm learning about, like, me as a creative because I was an athlete, you know, always in the gym. So it's just like now, like, being around people like Jay-Way and Ty, like, who are artists and have always been wanting to be rappers since they were 12. It's just like, how can I put myself in a space where I can be the best creative and get the best juices flowing that I can? And so I thought about, you know, this producer, shout out to Damie, he produced like 99% of it. I brought him. I'm like, yo, I want to go kick it with him. He lived in Amsterdam. So flew all the way, to Europe and spent like a week and a half in Amsterdam. It was the vibes. Like, I finally knew, like, oh, like the relationship between the rapper and engineer and producer matters. So me and him just gelled and built a chemistry, and just the music just flowed, and I was able to get in my zone. And then what I did was I was in Nashville and I brought Damie, and then I brought another guy who is a co-writer producer who, like, I work really close with. All three of us are like introverts, quiet introverts. And so I literally had an Airbnb for a week and a half, and we just did nothing but wake up and do music. Like, there were times where we didn't even really hardly talk, like, because we're just we're just creatives. But I love that I was able to put pieces together to put us in a space to really create something that I know all of us will just have great chemistry with and just build. And that's what I did. And yeah, everything just came out exactly how I wanted it. There's no records on here that are like, this is for CCM, this is for gospel, this is for CHH. It's just all just my music that I put together, and things are just organically happening. Like, Cardio has 1.5 million streams. It's my fifth most streamed song on Apple Music. The next record that I'm about to drop, I know is about to, you know, be out of here. The radio has been picking up stuff, and it's just happening organically. So yeah, the more organic and authentic I put myself when making music, I feel like that's when I have the best results.
I hear that, man. One thing I love, what we're talking earlier in the beginning half of the show about listening parties and things like that. And you're going around to different cities, creating these experiences for your listeners, which I love. I love being able to, I don't know, listen to things firsthand, hear the heart behind it. What was your reasoning behind, like, how do you feel about being able to create these experiences for your listeners and be able to give them an exclusive listen when it comes to boats?
It's all about building relationships. Like I said, I'm an introvert. I'm quiet. And so I want people to like finally get to know who I am. You know what I mean? Like I'm giving myself the opportunity to talk to people instead of like I'm always go, go, go. It's just like I'm always the first to leave because like, all right, I got the job done. All right, I'm out. I'm about to go to the next thing or go kick it, whatever. So it's like, this is my opportunity to give myself to the people and to really like let the people see the man behind the music and give myself an opportunity to talk.
Okay, so now I'm not gonna lie. You talking about the album? I'm getting real excited now because I just know that a lot's gonna come out of it. You were locked in for it.
Yeah.
So tell us something about the album that we don't know that we can get excited about. Like I feel like with all this promo, you got to be able to drop a little nugget, a little gem for us to be able to look forward to. I know we're excited about all of it, but what can you tell us about the album that we don't know?
That y'all don't know. There is a song purely about sex.
For real?
Yes! Sex! I said it. Sex. Sex. Church. Sex, sex, sex. I'm married. I've been married for 5 years. Me and my wife have amazing sex.
So talk about that.
Yeah, so... And I seen Chandler Moore. He made a post about it, and I was like, yes, like I feel like somebody gets it. He's like, yeah, like I'm about to make a song that's like about love and marriage. And... we all know the Keith Sweat joints. We all know the, you know what I'm saying, as a culture, like we know the baby making music, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, as believer, we ain't gonna talk about it. But it's a thing of the church is so quick to get married. I feel like I've seen so many of my friends young get married quick. Literally we was talking about it the other day, like, just getting married and even for the wrong alternatives, but it's just like there is God created sex within this context and it is beautiful in the context. What if somebody talks about that beauty? What if somebody bigs up that beauty? There is married Christians who can relate. So I was just in the studio and it was, Afro beat, what I'm saying, was on and reminisced about a time with my beautiful wife and just wanted to put it on a song because I can and I can talk about real things and that's where I'm at. So there's a song about sex on the album.
One thing that I've realized about you is that you're always someone who's willing to take those risks. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it when it comes to collaborations, when it comes to collabing with Snoop Dogg, when it comes to collabing with Shaggy, when it comes to the new song that you're about to drop, when it comes to honestly boats. I can only imagine what else you're pushing the limits on. What is it? How does it feel to be able to, because we all know Christians can be the most critical people on earth.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying for people that where you're hoping that they can get to, but yet you got this critical modern day Pharisee people where the comment section can light you up, but yet you want to get something out. You have an idea. God's laid something on your heart. What does it feel? How does it feel to be able to go against those norms that we haven't seen in CHH or just the things that we're used to in the genre?
It feels great, man. It feels great because it's just different and it's something that no one's ever seen and may not ever see again. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to trailblaze. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm willing to trailblaze and be that guy.
Is there any song that you feel like people are going to listen to? They're going to be like, oh yeah, that's the one. Like, is it like there's the one you're like, oh, I know this is going to be a crowd pleaser?
Yeah. Man, the crowd pleasing one. Mr. Away. Mr. Away
Talk
goes
about that
crazy.
one a little bit.
Yeah, so it's literally a song like describing my actions as a busy individual. Always on the go, that goal-oriented person, you know what I mean? And it's basically like a, take this journey with me, and the hook is very bouncy, you know what I mean? And it's a fun record.
So we can guarantee a tour?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. What I'm trying to figure out is just like, I want to do colleges. You know what I'm saying?
That would be
my
fire,
like,
yo.
Hit
That would
colleges,
be insane.
hit HBCUs, turn up. So yeah, man, shout out to Engine Radio, man. We got a meeting coming up. Yeah, and we're trying to get a tour popping definitely in the spring or summer, something small, trying to build these markets, trying to, authentically build them for real. And just go.
What's it like crafting a tour for when it comes to maybe even boats? Have you thought about how you want to be able to create that experience for listeners? And I know you're thinking about music, how your set's going to be. How has it been like thinking about that mentally?
Yeah. I haven't thought too much about it yet. Just more so focusing on the rollout and then just filmed a video. But for the tour, I would really want to create an experience, and I would just want to wow people, man. Like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I never just want to compromise. As long as like my vision is not compromised, then we're good. So I just want to give people an ill experience. I know the show is there, but now how can we add the sauce? You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like the sauce has definitely been something that we've seen, of course, on you when it comes to the music and the tour as well, man. I feel as if when it comes to the music, not only do you hear Jesus, but I feel like there are also because I feel like you're just a naturally encouraging person, not just when it comes to you speaking to people, but also by the way you live, while you being disciplined and consistency in your fitness, when it comes to you being a father and a husband, when it comes to you serving. Like, it's just like your encouragement in the light of God just shines through you, where people who are lost and found will be able to just recognize that. I want you to be able to, before we end off, just leave our listeners just with some encouragement. I feel like you've seen a lot, you've been through a lot, and you're so encouraged through this journey that you're going on. Your work ethic is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Can you, before we go off, just give our listeners some final words of encouragement, anything that you want to leave off with that's just on your heart?
Yeah. Man, I would say press into the Father. I had a conversation with my mom the other day, and she really like opened up my eyes to a lot. I big up my dad a lot, but my mom has been through so much and still stands with so much faith. Realizing that the pivotal moment in my life where the generational curse stopped was when I gave my life to Christ. Press into the Father and watch your life change. It's that simple. And be about what you're talking about. I had a friend, shout out to Tums, that was his name, and it was at a party, and he was just like, yo, if you really about to be about this life, just like how Eric Gangsta is really about that life, if you really boasting up Christ, be about that life. You know what I mean? And in everything in life, man, what I've learned, getting older is just like discipline is the key component to what takes you from here to here. You know what I mean? So have discipline, stay consistent, and just continue to press into the Father and walk what you talk. That's all I got. Man.
Thank you so much, man, for being here.
Listen,
make sure y'all are tapped in, man. Listen, February 23rd, gonna be here before you know it. Be tapped in. Pre-save.
And we staying busy. I'm talking about, like, I'm already trying to plan what are we dropping next. Like, I want to be on them head tops every month, just dropping and just consistent. That's the wave, and I want to be busy, and we about to be busy. So tune in. Tap in, we're there.
Listen, make sure y'all tapped in, man, to my bro, man. We're so excited about the music that's dropping. If you come into your city, don't sleep. I'm gonna tell you that right now. When it comes to the listening party, when it comes to the tour, when it drops in the spring, I promise y'all, and I mean this wholeheartedly, you will not regret coming to see this guy when he's in your city. I mean that wholeheartedly. Stephen, thank you again for being here on the 116 Life, and thank you to everyone who's tuned in. As always, my name is Meah Evans, and signing off here on the 116 Life, here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140, and we'll see you next week.